Don Global presents the DG Recruit podcast on everything headhunting and recruitment. Achieve the life and career you envision. What's up, game changers? It's your host, Don, founder of Don Global, the headhunting and career coaching company helping you achieve the life and career you envision. In today's DG Recruit, I'll talk about how do you know if you'll succeed as a headhunter. Since I do so much coaching and mentoring of new headhunters, I get this question a lot because people are not sure if that this career is really going to work out for them. So a lot of people have been asking me lately, what are some things that you need to know about yourself to make sure that you will succeed in what we do? So I wanted to share some common themes today, common traits, themes, and just attitudes that you'll need to possess to know if you can succeed as a headhunter. So one of the most important things to understand, no matter where you're coming from into headhunting, is that headhunting is not like anything else you've ever done before, in the sense that it truly is in a league of its own in terms of complicatedness, in terms of emotional baggage, emotional challenge, and mental stimulation. So it really is everything. Essentially, as a headhunter, you need to outsmart your client and your candidate every single day. Not only do you have to outsmart people, usually double to triple your age, you also need to be able to progress your career and make sure that you take care of your own career moving forward and your own emotional mental state. So a very important trait that you must have is perseverance above all. Recruiting is very, very hard when you get started because, again, you've never done it before. It's challenging, it's scary, it's something that you've never had to navigate before, and every single day is so different. In fact, you might even get going very early in your career and then 2-3 months later be in a slump. How are you going to get over that? I've seen so many times candidates, including people who've worked for me, who had a really good run for the first 1 to 2 weeks, but then because they hit a few potholes, they're totally demotivated, disincentivized, and the lack of confidence overtakes everything. They cannot focus, they cannot think ahead, they can't keep producing at the level they were at before, they don't double down, they escape and they back off. So that doesn't work. In our business, when you're in a tough spot, you got to double down. That's why in our business, you tend to see a lot of people who are very competitive in the sense that they've done sports, right? Where they don't give up, where they work in sports, they've either played sports or some sort of like serious competitive drive where they're just like, I will not take losing as an acceptable outcome, right? And not only just like sports where you're playing with teams, a lot of times you see a lot of great recruiters come out of individual sports because they need to beat themselves. They need to beat their own accomplishments before, and they really need to move ahead. Or it could be even like chess. It could even be like debate club. These are all areas where I'm sure there are some great recruiters coming out of because you tend to be stimulated by winning and playing perhaps the long game, right? So people who've been put through tough situations where they really had to play against others that were much better than them and have to stay out on top and have to succeed, those people tend to do well. At the same time, social skills are super important, right? Some people sound great and they seem great, but ultimately they're not truly likable. Right? I have hired people like that too, where socially for like the first 5 minutes, they seem normal and they seem like friendly and they seem like compatible and like generally like sort of acclimatable or some sort of like personality wise, they're acceptable. But after a while, after you get to know them, they're kind of weirdos. They start like losing it. They're not really suave. They're not really like connectable, relatable. Like they're not truly people that you want to have around you in like a house party, for instance. Like in the house party, you probably just say hi and then walk away, right? So like for us to succeed as recruiters, you have to be charming beyond just 5 minutes. You have to genuinely be able to attract people, build relationships in a very, very fast time, right? You can't just be likable for 2 minutes. You got to be likable for 15, 20, 30, 40 hours, days. You got to be really seriously engaging. So if you want to win a popularity contest, you've got to be like the most popular person. Recruiters tend to be very suave socially, and you have to be because, again, you're trying to win people double to triple your age to do your bidding, to do as you will. You can't really get there if you're not Machiavellian or somewhat clever from a social perspective, right? You just can't. You can't convince people to do life-changing things if you can't even get people to like you on a basic level? Likability is probably the most important thing you need to be as a recruiter in terms of being able to do your job from a capability perspective. Another thing we look for a lot is entrepreneurial capability. In college, what were you doing when you're free time? Were you just drinking, hanging out, partying? Or were you selling stuff on eBay like I did? Were you teaching classes to earn some side money? Like I did too? Or were you waitressing? Were you bartending? Were you doing some sort of service job where you would have also had exposure to many different types of people? So my job as a bartender really changed my life, from how I was able to quickly build relationships with people and then to remember them if they came back to my bar. If they came back to my bar, I would remember stuff like their family's names, their own names. I remember where they're from. I remember the last conversation we had so that I could draw upon that and continue building that relationship to get what I wanted, which was a big tip, right? So again, bartending, stuff like that, these type of jobs where you have to really seriously engage with people over a prolonged period of time, they tend to be very good for you in terms of building up your potential to succeed within recruiting. Again, one of the biggest reasons why recruiters do recruiting is because of the money. We have to be money motivated, sort of above all else, right? Like everything we do is measured by the revenue that we can bring to our company. When we bring in revenue, what that means is that we were able to land a client. We were able to land a candidate. We were able to make the two come to an agreement where they selected each other and have concluded a deal, in the sense that the candidate goes to work and stays there for over 90 days. So apparently we are so good at our job that we found somebody who actually succeeded in that role as well. So the revenue illustrates how good you are as a recruiter. If you fail to do the simple goal of putting together manager and employee, then you have not succeeded as a recruiter. Maybe you give people great career advice. Maybe you're very nice to people, but ultimately you can't close deals. If you can't close deals, you do not belong in our industry. In fact, you won't succeed because you won't get paid. Our business is mostly commission driven. So if you don't care about money, you don't care about doing deals, you just want to help people all day, you're not going to make it in recruiting, because there's a plenty other jobs that you can help people and not have to generate revenue, like social work, like being a teacher, like being a counselor, being a therapist, where you just listen and talk to people. You know, in our job, we're not just talking to people aimlessly, right? We are literally trying to make a difference and make a tangible event happen, which is a candidate leaving a job to go to another one, right? If I don't make that person go to work, then I have failed in my role. So money is crucial to everything, because money is what's going to drive you to pull leads, to ask your candidate the questions that you don't feel comfortable asking people. Because every time you screw up and you don't ask the things you need to ask and you lose deals because of it, you either sink or you swim. You either continue to get better and improve your question asking skills and improve your negotiating skills and push harder for the right information, work harder and be more of a hard ass, or you quit and you go, this sucks. This job is immoral. It's asking too much. It's playing. If you're so comfortable to think that the world's millionaires have gotten their money easy peasy without having to do anything hard or push themselves or be put in an uncomfortable situation, you'd be surprised, right? You're wrong, right? Everybody who's reached success has not gotten there because of easy peasy questioning and answering, tick, tick, tick off a sheet. Everybody who's gotten successful had to do things differently, had to push for more, had to go at it a little bit harder. So again, as a recruiter, if you don't care about money, if you're not really gung-ho about making more than 6 figures a year, you will not sustain. In fact, you will quit our job. And you will go into HR, or you will go into counseling. You will go into internal recruiting. If you don't really truly see a good life for yourself, truly believe that you're capable of a good life for yourself, truly push yourself to work extra hard, take that extra mile to persevere until you see the success that you want for yourself. If you can't duke it out, you should just save yourself the effort today and just refrain from joining recruitment as a career, because it's tough business. You have to ask questions you don't want to ask. You have to do things you may not want to do. You have to say things that you may not want to say for the sake of money, for the sake of making money faster, for the sake of making money harder, for the sake of being more efficient. And that's just how it is. Not that you're doing anything immoral. You just have to push people beyond what you're normally comfortable with. And for a lot of people, that's too big of an ask. They want to do the comfortable thing. They want to ask the safe questions that they feel is kosher to ask. If you're not comfortable asking the unkosher questions, pushing and being clever and a little bit Machiavellian, if you don't feel comfortable with that, being cunning and clever, if you don't like these phrases, if that's not how you want to be yourself, or you're proud of the fact that you're sharper and that you know how to get what you want, if you don't really feel that way about yourself and you just want to respect others and be super respectful of others secondary to yourself, you won't make it in this business. You got to be extremely selfish. The best recruiters in our business are selfish people. They're self-driven, self-motivated, self-greedy, self-hungry, hungry for themselves, for a better life for themselves. If you don't view selfishness as a positive attribute, and you think that somehow giving away all your whatever little that you have to give and being this so super kumbaya, if you think that's who you are, if that's who you want to be, you will not find happiness, fulfillment, or success within recruiting. Recruiting is a one-person game. It's an individual sport. You gotta win for the sake of winning for you. And then you are the one that actually benefits from it as a career, right? And selfishness to me, I'm a big subscriber to Ayn Rand's book, The Fountainhead. In fact, The Fountainhead is one of my favorite books in the world. And I think a central theme to it, minus the libertarianism, which I'm not here to debate, I'm here to say that what I loved about the book was the central theme that in order to be the most moral person, in terms of living up to your capability, your standards, your achievement potential, is to actually be 100% focused on what you can deliver to the world. Right? Instead of being home and catering to your parents all day and supporting all these other people who need babying, break free. Be who you need to be. Be selfish about your achievements, because being charitable, it's not really a virtue. The world and society makes you feel that way and thinks so. But truly, the most successful people have been able to focus on themselves, what they can do for the world, increase their impact beyond mom and dad. That is the real moral usage of your talent, is to bring your success and impact to the world, not to your immediate family and circle of friends, because that impact is too small. So a lot of times people just want to do the smallest thing and have the smallest dreams. And that's why they give up, because to them, 70K is good enough. 80K is good enough. One trip a year to some whatever country is good enough to make them happy. But what about the impact you can have on the world? Who are you truly helping when all you can really do is make enough to support yourself and potentially chip in if there's a real issue? If there's some big issue, you can't do anything because you're not at an achievement level where you can pull up and help. Instead of aiming for this sort of bare level version of success, I prefer to go all the way to the top. Why don't you become a true game changer and bust your butt hard now to succeed, so that when you need to help people, you can really put your money where your mouth is? Because right now you can only help like a very limited amount of people if you're stuck at a very limited stage of growth and success. So for my version of success in recruiting, it means that you got to have bigger numbers in mind. 100K is nothing in our business. You need to be targeting 200 to 300. And when you start making money in our business, you need to figure out how to invest that money smartly so that you can compound it quickly, so that you can quickly become a true business leader. Hopefully start your own agency, hopefully be able to be a big successful person in another agency or in your existing agency, be a mentor, be a leader to those beneath you, to help people achieve the same amount of financial success you are able to tap into in our awesome job. But if you're not money driven, again, you will not do what's required of you to become the recruiter that you need to be.
So be honest with yourself. What cost are you willing to take on? What price are you willing to pay to be that person who earns $2 to $300 grand a year? If the cost and the price is very low, recruitment is not for you. There are too many other jobs that will help you earn six figures without having to go through the grueling process, the mental pain, and the personal development that is required to succeed as a headhunter. I hope this helps you really understand the onus and the responsibility that lies on our shoulders to be forever successful in what we do as headhunters. You got to really be honest about yourself. Know that you can make it and know that you're willing to put in the cost, the price to succeed. I put my normal life on the line. Instead of being a normal person and getting married and having kids by a certain age, I could not sacrifice anybody getting into my way of my success. When I dated men who wanted to pull me back and to stop having me be so aggressive from a financial earning perspective, I had to bid them adieu. I could not stay with people who wanted me to aspire to just be a Joe Schmo producer at like $90K. That was not me. I was always somebody who wanted to be successful. And anybody who gets in my way, I'll have to say goodbye, because nothing is more important than my financial success, my financial independence, my ability to achieve my dreams. That's the tenacity that's required to stay forever ahead of the game in your career. No matter what it is, right? Don't let people get in your way. Don't let people tell you how to be and who to become. Do you, especially in what we do. We're headhunters. We don't take no for an answer. We push through to the very end. I won't give up. If I don't make the money I want to make and achieve the life I want, I don't stop. And that's the type of mindset and personality type and worldview that breeds utter success in headhunting. If you don't take no for an answer and you will get what you want and you're used to getting what you want because you've always pushed to get what you want in terms of doing the work needed to earn the result that you wanted for yourself, then recruiting is the right business for you, because our job is all about manifesting our dreams into real life by working our butt off and pushing ourselves to be the person we need to be to get what we want. Another thing that ultimately you really need to do this job, in addition to the people skills I mentioned, the grit, the perseverance I mentioned, is on the very basic level. You need to have very strong oral and written communication skills. You have to work on your dialect. You can't have weird accents. You can't have weird communication styles, weird twitches, odd behavior patterns. Your verbal and written skills in the language that you're recruiting in has to be very, very high, right? When you're dealing with clients, they want to deal with someone who speaks the language well and can read and articulate very strong messages through email and understand negotiation and rates and contracts. You can't really do that if you don't speak the language well. You need to improve the way that you communicate. You have to speak at a more mature and higher level of articulation and sophistication. That's why not every salesperson can do recruiting. Recruiting is not widget sales. I can't just shove stupid products down stupid people's throats. I need to sell a sophisticated product to a very sophisticated buyer, and I need to sell an opportunity to a very sophisticated and highly desirable candidate. And a candidate who's successful in their career, the ones that our clients want, is not going to take any old phone call from any old salesperson who's just like, oh, hi, my name is Joe Schmo. I'm here to recruit. Do you want to look at new jobs? That's not going to work. You got to be extra sharp, extra smart, extra good at verbal and written communication. In fact, when I do social media marketing, I got to write a lot of content for my followers. That's how I drum up business, and I drum up our opportunities to connect with candidates through the written form as well. So verbal and written skills rank equally high. In fact, in our business, if you don't have strong written skills, your progression may be capped, maybe, I've also met some really dumb recruiters, so I don't know. But ultimately, for me, it's like I can't imagine doing this job with poor written skills, especially as we move into the digital age and continue growing into the digital age, right? The recruiters who've been in the business for 20, 30 years and who get by having relationships, that's a dying breed. The new business requires new people to be quickly able to build new relationships very quickly to monetize. That requires strong written and marketing skills, because as the market gets more congested, recruiters like ourselves, we have to be better to succeed. Competition will always drive us. You're never going to be the best person in the room. There's always someone chasing at your tail. You can never rest easy in general in life, right? If you think that life is supposed to be easy peasy and work-life balance is your thing, recruiting is not going to be it for you, because you won't survive. If you want to like have this beautiful, like comfortable career, don't do recruiting. Recruiting is for people who are super competitive. Again, want that 200-300 grand, that will do anything to get it, will work hard sustainably to get there, will take no for an answer. That's the type of person that's going to succeed in recruiting. Again, if you disagree with me, then disagree with me, because all of my clients, by the way, I recruit for recruiters all the time for recruitment firms. That is literally DG Recruit my business. Every client that I talk to is going to agree with me. Most of them. The ones who don't agree with me, I don't know how much revenue they're running, but in our business, it's revenue that keeps the business rolling. Right? If you, especially as a business leader and as an owner of an agency, if you're not generating revenue, your firm will die. We don't have a product to sell that we can just sell on Amazon or eBay. We are a service-based business. If we can't sell our service and conclude our service and be effective in our service of landing deals, we as a business will fail. So any recruitment business that tells you money isn't important and like blobbity is full of crap, because that business is going to shut down. Like literally, a business cannot succeed without revenue. If I don't bring revenue to my company, we do not survive. We shut down. Business is over. When the recession hits and recruiters are going to start suffering because they get comfortable, this is when the best time comes for the ones who are still grinding, because we'll snatch up all the business that's left over from the people who've given up. That's why perseverance, back to point one, is your number one differentiator and skill set that you must have to last in life, because life is a marathon. It is not a race. Same with recruiting. It is actually, it is a race, but it's not a sprint, right? A marathon is a type of race, but it's not a sprint. If you're sprint oriented, if you're motivated by short-term goals, recruitment is not for you. So please think carefully, because I would hate to waste your time, and I would hate for you to waste your own time, and I would hate for you to waste others' time as you go around soul searching. You should know yourself well enough as an adult with some work experience to know what you should be doing, what suits you, and double down. When you make a decision, double down. Don't back off. Don't give up. And don't stop yourself until the work is done. I hope this helps you get some idea of how to evaluate if recruitment is truly something that you should look into as a long-term career. If it is, of course, don't hesitate to reach out to DG Recruit, my team. You can contact us on email, which is contact@dgrecruit.com. Get in touch. Let us know if you think this is something you want to do, because recruitment is a fun and crazy ride. But anyways, definitely get in touch. And of course, if you're going through some career issues, don't hesitate to reach out to us as well for confidential discussion about your options at this point.
I hope DG Recruit is helping you understand the realities, challenges, and opportunities when it comes to headhunting and recruitment. Whether you're already a top biller or an aspiring headhunter, I'd love to get to know you. Sign up at donnaglobal.com to stay in touch on all aspects of career coaching and headhunting. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll see you there. Thanks for tuning in to DG Recruit. This has been a production of Donna Global.